What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Ask RGT 85, where I answer your questions. This question comes to us from Kane Boaz. We'll go with Boaz because it sounds cooler. Kane basically asked me what I thought about emulators and flash cards. Now, I'll go ahead and get the flash cart portion out of the way. I do not own any flash carts, but I would love to own one. I probably will pick one up one day because I think they're fun. I think they're cool. It's a great way to play on original hardware. So I can't really talk too much about flash cards, but emulators, of course I can, because I've been emulating for 15 years, 16 years, something like that now. So basically I want to talk about my past, present, and future with emulators, what I think about them, and the positive things that they can do for the gaming community. Now, when it comes to my history with emulators, I originally remember the first time I played an emulator was a Nesticle emulator on a PC, which was an NES emulator. And that was back in high school, and it was just dope as hell to be able to play any NES game on the computer just like that. At the time I wasn't collecting, I didn't really care about collecting, I just liked to play video games. So this was a great thing for me. I was having a lot of fun with it. As time went on, I ended up getting a Nintendo DS that I modified and was able to play any DS ROM on it. And then eventually I got a modified Xbox, which I still own to this day. It has NES, Super NES, Genesis, TurboGrafx 16. It has so many systems on it and every ROM on it that I pretty much have lost count of how many things are on it. Yet I still collect video games. So it's kind of weird. A lot of people seem to believe that emulators lead to less collecting, and I'll get into a little bit more about how I feel about that. But as far as present goes, I recently just got a PSP Go that I have modified completely to play any PS1 game that I want. One of those games I have on the system is Tekken 3. Yet, I own Tekken 3. So what's the point of me putting Tekken 3 on the PSP Go when I own the disc? Well, it's a convenience factor. I like to be able to play a plethora of PS1 games on my PSP Go, which I can show you how I hacked if there's any interest in that. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see that. But I also like having the disc because sometimes I want to play on a big TV. Yes, I could hook up some component cables to the PSP Go, but I could drop that PSP Go and it'll be pointless, it'll be worthless, it'll be broken. Whereas the disc, I keep good care of the disc, so unless disc rot sets in, I'll be able to play that copy of Tekken 3 till the end of time. So emulators are not necessarily a bad thing because you have to look at it from a couple different standpoints. I once used a DS emulator to check out a game called 999 on the Nintendo DS. I played it for about 10 minutes and then I purchased the game brand new off of Amazon because I just wanted to see what the game was like. I was very confused about the game. I didn't understand it. So using an emulator and using an illegal ROM led to a company getting money, which seems to be the opposite of what people think. You have to remember one thing with emulators. Who is it really hurting? Yes, you can buy games digitally on the Nintendo eShop. Yes, the PSN has digital games as well, like PS1 titles and PS2 titles. But all you're really doing is impacting this retro gaming economy that's just gotten so blown out of proportion that we have created as retro collectors through supply and demand that it doesn't really matter to us. See, we're still gonna buy, if I come across a copy of Little Samson for 50 bucks, I'll buy it. I don't care that I have it emulated on 1,000 different devices. I of course am gonna buy it. But at the same time, I'm not gonna spend $600, $700, $800, $1,000 on this cartridge. It's just not reasonable to me. If I want to be able to play the game, I should be able to play the game. And another thing about emulators that's kind of a myth that I'm gonna debunk is a lot of your favorite YouTubers, myself included, use emulators. Why? Because it's easy as hell to capture footage for it. Unless I'm doing a system review like the Retro USB AVS or the Retron 5 where it's imperative to know how the system outputs these images. If I'm just doing a game review, a standard game review like my Nightshade review, I'm gonna use an emulator on the PC because it's a hell of a lot easier than setting up my capture device, setting up my computer, putting the cartridge in, making sure everything worked, capturing all these hours of footage. It's just crazy. When you look at an emulator, it's so much quicker. You can just screen cap what you're doing and it takes minutes as opposed to hours. Many of your favorite YouTubers use this device. It's a simple fact. For Game Boy games, for Game Gear games. You think you're getting these people that have modified Game Gears? No. I mean, there are a few out there for sure. I would love to get one, but at the end of the day, they're more than likely using an emulator. And once again, that's not a bad thing. It is a way to present high quality content to you guys. So are emulators a bad thing? No, they're not at all. The people who want to use an emulator to play a game are simply going to do that. The collectors who want to collect the games are simply going to do that. They don't really intertwine. They don't really hurt one another. If that was the case, collecting wouldn't be at its all-time high right now. Think of how high collecting is right now, and yet the rise of emulators is high as well. You can get them on your cell phone, yet people still want to collect. Why? Because it's fun. We like to have the original products. We like to play the original products the way they were intended to be played. So I'm all for emulators and flashcards. If that's the only way you want to play your games, that's fine. My collection will always look better than yours. Let me know what you think about emulators and flashcards in the comments section down below. Once again, if you would like to ask me a question, be sure to like my Facebook fan page. I'll have a link in the description. And I usually make a post and you can ask questions in there and I choose one and do a video on it. Thank you for watching this video. If this is your first time watching, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave me your comments down below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later.